Hi there, Mark Jaben, Medical Director of the Haywood County Health Department. And let's talk about this pandemic. Highlights in this video include a new dance, all the metrics continue way up, now including elderly and nursing home residents here in Haywood County. What's happening with hospitalizations and deaths? What is helping us have a clearer view of what's happening? A look at surrounding counties and what it all means. All this, so let's go ahead and get started. Now, if you've paid any attention at all, you're well aware of the data for this week. Everywhere, cases, hospitalizations, visits for COVID-like illness, all continuing an upward trend. So are deaths in every state around us now, although not in North Carolina or here in Haywood County yet. But more on that in just a minute. And be aware, those states around us are a few weeks ahead of us. In Haywood County, we have added around 40 new cases this week. That's a 40% increase after several weeks of 20% increases. The increase in cases here is very similar to Buncombe and Jackson. Swain and Macon, their curves are now actually pretty flat. In Haywood County, rather than total cases, we are now mostly following the number of people sick in isolation and exposed in quarantine. And this gives us a better view of what we are dealing with right now. On June 23rd, it was 8 sick and in isolation, 17 in quarantine. As of Friday afternoon, 3 weeks later, we have 47 sick active cases in isolation and 80 in quarantine. And again, that now includes several nursing home residents and elderly community members as well. That represents a doubling rate of active cases somewhere around 9 days. And for reference, when this gets around 4 to 5 days or less, that's when hospital capacity starts to be a concern. If you look at the age range in Jackson, Macon, and Swain counties, there are now as many people infected under the age of 25 as between 25 and 50. In North Carolina, 5% of the deaths are now in the age range of 25 to 50. At the end of May, that was 2%, and in mid-June, that was 4%. Between the ages of 51 and 65, that's around 16%. So all in all, 20% death rate under the age of 65. So total deaths for North Carolina may not be increasing, but the ages with the biggest increase in cases now show an increase in deaths. On every level, this is not the direction we hoped we'd be going in at this point. So the big picture, if we look back a couple of months, what we see is a bump in cases about once a month. And if we do not get fully back to baseline after each bump, there will be a steady upward trend, like we're seeing in North Carolina. If the bumps come even faster, leaving less time for recovery, the trend shoots skyward, like we see in Florida, Texas, Arizona, California, and the other states in the Southeast. So slowing the spread matters. The effect of reopening is now clear. It's not because the virus has changed. It's because enough of us have not changed. Or we did change, but have let our guard down. And also, big picture, we know from watching those who have gone before us that any intervention we now put in place will take at least 2 to 3 weeks to show an impact. Our numbers going up until then, cases and deaths going up until then, and continue for weeks even after the numbers start to go down. School starts in a month, and the question is, where do we want to be? The question is, what are you willing to do to get us there? So if you are facing the facts and rethinking how you feel about all this, thank you. We know what slows the spread, and we know what works. So follow the 3 W's, show a COVID IQ, practice the golden rule of gathering. I promise it won't be as painful as you fear. And there are a lot of folks out there depending on what you do. So be well and be careful, especially right now. And please share this video with someone you care about. Oh gee, I forgot the dance. Well, maybe next time.